Hello everyone, my name is Julia and today I'm going to be guiding you through an at-home beginner's Yin Yoga practice. And so if you want to get started by grabbing any props that you think you might want to use, this can just be like a regular pillow from your couch or maybe any sort of blanket just to have nearby. If you have blocks and you think you might want to use those, you can grab those as well, or something that is block-like such as a book, you can grab that. And then once you grab that, go ahead and get started. We'll come into a gentle seated position. And so if cross-legged is available, go ahead and begin there. Otherwise, if you'd rather start on your back or in any other position, that's totally fine. Listen to your body and we'll get started. So go ahead and begin by closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall, rooting down through the two sit bones. If you need to kind of wiggle around and feel where that connection is, maybe pull any flesh away, you can do that. And once you feel that connection, really lengthening the spine to sit up nice and tall. Let the chest lift, let the shoulders fall back and down, away from the ears. The palms can just rest gently on the knees. The hands, maybe the palms are facing up to keep the heart open. Or if you're looking for something more grounding or introspective, you can turn the palms downwards towards the earth. Whatever calls to you today. The crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. Just begin to soften the muscles in the face, unclench the jaw. Let the tongue rest from the roof of the mouth and down. Let the eyebrows unfurrow, the forehead broadens, and begin to tune your awareness inward so that we can find some stillness here. Allow the breath to just be soft and natural. If you have an Ujjayi breath in your practice and that is a natural breath for you, you can take it. But this is a beginner's class, so don't feel like you have to, go above and beyond or force anything. Just let this be basic. Going back to the basics. Beginning to notice whatever thoughts come up in the mind. Allowing them to just float to the surface. And don't try to suppress anything that may come up. Just allow it to appear, but then float by like clouds in the sky. And eventually, there will be stillness. Eventually, you'll be able to notice the spaces in between the thoughts, if not already. Many of my teachers have said that the real yoga begins when you can notice that space between the thoughts. So yoga is not about putting your leg behind your head or contorting your body into these crazy positions. This is yoga, sitting in stillness and breathing, becoming an observer of your thoughts, becoming aware of the present moment. And finding that connection between the mind, the body, and eventually finding a connection between the mind, the body, and the universe. When we connect to something greater, we connect to ourselves. When you're ready, you can start to invite a little gentle movement into the body, just wiggling the fingers and toes. You can blink the eyes open. Today I'm going to be guiding you through a beginner's flow from this book, The Complete Guide to Yin Yoga by Bernie Clark, who was actually one of the creators of Yin Yoga. And our first pose that we're going to take is butterfly pose. So we can get started just by bringing the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall to either side. If you already are experiencing a lot of tightness in the hips here, you can choose to put blocks or some other type of prop underneath the knees just to kind of give them some more support, or you can allow them to open up to the sides and just let gravity kind of do the work here. And then we'll begin to fold into it very slowly. And so we'll start by inhaling to lift the spine, to straighten, and then as we exhale, we might decide to walk the hands in front of us. And so you can choose to use any sort of prop here. You can roll up a blanket or use a pillow to rest the upper body onto. And that way we can just get some more support as we're just getting started, and then eventually you might remove props as we spend more time in the pose. But because this is a beginner's class, we're only going to spend about 3 minutes in each pose today. So I'm going to set a timer. And so we'll just hang out here for 3 minutes. And if it feels good to round the spine and allow the head to get heavy and rest down, that's totally fine. In Yin Yoga, it's okay to be a little rounded. And the goal is to completely relax the body so that we can get deep into the connective tissues here. And so Yin Yoga focuses on stretching connective tissue and joints rather than muscle. Muscle is a very yang, the opposite of yin, body part. But yin is focused on the heaviness, the coldness, right? We want the body to be cold in yin so that we can get a true idea of where we are at flexibility-wise. Because if we were to start after, going through a vinyasa flow and the body is warm and sweaty, then we can go a lot deeper, right? But the problem with that is that if we do a yin pose after the body is warm, then we can actually cause damage to that yin connective tissue. So we want to start with cold. And you guys, I don't know where you live, but where I live, we're going through a heat wave right now. And to do a cold practice feels really nice. So yin is a very good practice for balancing out any sort of heat that we are experiencing. And so when we talk about yang or heat or fire, this really just refers to any activity. So if we're a very busy person with an active lifestyle, always go, 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 then yin is a really great practice to balance out that sort of lifestyle, to bring some stillness, some time to rest and digest. And so really give yourself this time today to do that, because you deserve it. I know many of us in this society are very busy, and so we have to be intentional about relaxing. And so when we're in these yin poses, you may feel a sort of dull, achy kind of discomfort, and that's okay. That's what it's supposed to feel like. So breathe through it. If it's too painful or you notice any numbness, come out of the pose. That means the pose is over. And just listen to your body. See what comes up. All right, that first 3 minutes went by quick. So go ahead, begin to walk the hands back towards your body, sitting back up tall. When we come out of the poses, you want to move very slowly so as not to pull anything or hurt yourself, right? And so we'll gently maybe pull the knees back using the hands, planting the soles of the feet onto the mat. And then you can just bring your hands behind you and we'll windshield wiper the knees side to side to just counter that pose. noticing the sensation in the hips and gentle opening. So once you feel like you've kind of ironed this out, we'll go ahead and begin to bring the legs wide into a straddle. And so when we get into this, it doesn't have to be the widest straddle in the world. It's just whatever is available and comfortable to you once we're getting started. And if when we go along you decide to widen your position, that's fine. And you can also decide to shorten it as we go along. You can always change, okay? And so you might want your pillow or props nearby, but again, you don't need them. And another option here, if your knees need to be a little bent, you can roll up blankets or something to just put underneath the knees, okay? There's always options. And so once you get here, we'll get started by folding over this right leg. So just like we did in the butterfly pose, we'll start by lengthening the spine, lifting the arms. Inhale, and then exhale to fold over this right leg. And I'll set my timer. We have 3 minutes here. And so again, you can put any sort of blanket or props underneath the chest just for support. And then we'll continue to soften into this. And so don't lock out your legs, don't lock anything out, don't force anything. Just allow the body to get heavy, and gravity will do the work. And continue to breathe, all right? The breath is still important. And as we go along, you might decide to remove props. Just trying to get the chest squared over this right leg. Continue to relax and soften and breathe. You can round the head and neck if that feels good. Soften, maybe a little deeper. Relax the face. Relax any muscles that you aren't using here. Begin to bring yourself up back to seated, gently walking the hands towards the body, lengthening the spine. And we'll come through center. Inhale to circle the arms around and up. And then as we exhale, folding over this left leg, so just switch sides. Know that one side may feel different than the other side, and that's okay. You still might be experiencing that dullness, that achy sort of discomfort, which is what we're looking for. Again, don't lock out the knees. Allow the muscles to just be soft so that we can get into that connective tissue and strengthen there, and stretch there. Strengthen and stretch the connective tissue, we have to move into the body, into the poses very slowly. And so you can sort of think of it like with braces. When we have braces, you know, they move the teeth. Teeth are bones. They move the teeth at a very slow rate over a long period of time. And so this is very similar to that. We're stretching into this deeper sort of connective tissue and into the joints. But to do that, we have to do it very slowly and over a duration of time. And that's actually really the definition of what Yin Yoga is. It's still active, right? It's more active than restorative yoga because there's still work, right? We're still doing work. It's not just all about relaxing. It's about finding that balance between effort and ease. It's that point where it's not too much, it's just enough. It's not too little, we're not bored, right? We still have sensation, but it's not to the point where we're in pain. And so we have to learn to discern between pain and discomfort. And so again, I said it before, but I'll reiterate. If you have any numbness sensation or tingling, then that might be an indicator that you're either too deep into the pose or the pose is just over, right? So again, really tune in and listen to your body, close the eyes, and experience the sensations that you're having. And breathe through it. Gently begin to walk the hands back up towards the body, coming back through center. And then finally, we'll fold through the middle. So as we inhale, lift the arms up through center. And then as we exhale, folding forward right through center. And again, option to use a pillow underneath the upper body, underneath the chest. You can even stack more than one pillow or other props and items that you have. You can be creative, just to keep yourself supported, right? Because you want the body to still be relaxed even though there is work being done, because the body has to be relaxed in order to get to that connective tissue. Really soften into this. Be here for just a couple more minutes. Again, you can rest the forehead down. You may be noticing that the body is growing colder due to the stillness, and so you can feel free to use a blanket, you know, and get comfy. Be as cozy as you would like to. continuing to breathe, continuing to release. Begin to slowly, gently walk the hands back towards the body, back to a seated position. You can move your props out of the way, and then we'll gently maybe pick up the legs and bring them back through center, slowly and softly. And then again, we'll windshield wiper the knees side to side so you can plant the hands behind you for support, and then we'll just move the legs side by side. Again, just ironing it all out. Checking back in with the body. Just incorporating a little bit of movement in with a practice that is very much focused on stillness. Then go ahead and find a still point again, and we'll take child's pose just for a minute. So you can just get into a position of all fours, hands and knees. Use any pillows or blankets under the knees or in between the legs. Bring the big toes together. Widen the knees as wide as it's available right now. And then we'll be here just for a minute. Walking the arms out in front of us, or you can bring them by your sides if you're taking care of your shoulders today. And just allow the shoulders to drape over the knees. You can either rest the forehead down, the third eye space in between the eyebrows, or you can rest one temple down. Just breathe here, feel the belly expand against the thighs as we surrender. Just feeling the stillness and the stability of the earth underneath us, our foundation. And then go ahead and begin to come back up to all fours. And our next pose will be Sphinx pose. So to get here, we'll rock the shoulders forward to a kneeling plank position. And then bend the elbows lower onto the belly. And then bringing the forearms in front of us. The elbows can be slightly in front of the shoulders. And just rest here. Again, if you need to use any kind of prop, you can put a pillow or something underneath the chest, which depending on the size of that pillow might create a bigger back bend than you would like. But it also can just be nice for support. But if you want it to be more active, more engaged, then I would say don't use any kind of props here, unless you have a bolster maybe you could lay on top of. But otherwise, we'll settle in here for 3 minutes. Let the shoulders rest down the back. The head and neck is neutral, in line with the spine. We're pressing the forearms down into the earth. The pubic bone presses down into the earth, but we're keeping the glutes nice and relaxed, the back nice and relaxed. Tops of the feet gently rest down. And just breathe into this back bend. Maybe noticing that it was easy at first, but it might be getting more challenging the longer we stay here. But stick with it. You got this. And so we learn if we can breathe through this stillness, then we can be patient through anything. And so it's really a time to reflect and work on a little bit of self-study, svadhyaya, but not in a way that is judgmental. So don't judge yourself. There's no expectations. Just be an observer. Learn how you tend to deal with stillness and discomfort. What is your pattern of thought? What do you want to do? Are you wanting to retreat and be done and get out of it? Or can you maybe investigate that feeling? From Sphinx pose, we're going to move right into seal pose. For seal pose, all we do is lift the elbows, plant the hands. It's like a bigger Sphinx pose, right? And so this is where, again, you might decide to use a prop underneath the chest to keep you lifted. Or maybe you challenge yourself and see if you can just use your strength in your arms. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. The whole lower body relaxed. Don't tighten the glutes. If you need less sensation, you can walk the hands wider apart, even mats width apart. Breathing here. If it becomes too much, you can always lower the elbows back down and go back to Sphinx pose. You don't have to force it if it's not working out for you. you're ready, gently lower the elbows back down. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll come back up through a position of all fours. And then we'll slide back into child's pose for 1 minute. And so again, option to bring the arms out in front of you, or you have the option to bring the arms by your sides, let the spine round, and just rest here. When you're ready, let's come back up to hands and knees. From here, go ahead and sink the hips back down to the heels. We'll sink one hip down and bring the legs in front of us. So our next pose is going to be half shoelace. And so we can start by bringing the legs long in front of us. And then we'll bring the right knee over the left knee. And so you kind of want to angle this right foot inwards. And then from here, root down through the sit bones. We'll lift the arms up towards the sky. And then if it's available, maybe we fold over. If it's already a lot of sensation in just a seated position, then you can just start there today. Maybe that's enough. But as you start to open into that hip a little more, then maybe we can consider folding in a little deeper. And so this pose is great for opening up the hip. You'll feel that kind of dull achiness most likely in the left hip right now, if not also in the right. And it's also nice because it decompresses the lower back, which might feel a little achy from doing those Sphinx poses, seal and Sphinx. So again, it's okay to be a little rounded here, to let the head hang down if that's okay on your neck. And we'll hang out here for 3 minutes. Again, don't lock anything out, just allow the body to soften. this left foot inwards so that the knee completely stacks. And then consider folding into it when you're ready. We can start by lifting the arms up to straighten the spine, find some length, and then as we exhale, we'll fold in a little deeper. Again, one side will probably feel different than the other side because we just worked on one side, and that's okay. Don't judge yourself, don't worry, it's all good. Then we'll breathe here for about 3 minutes, just hanging out. Hard to sit in stillness and quietness, but it's so healing for the body. This is when the body can really start to heal and rest, and the digestive system can go to work. We'll just feel better. We'll feel more energetic, not right away, but later. So the benefits of meditation, which this is a meditation in a way because we're sitting in quiet for a duration of time, quiet and stillness. The benefits of meditation usually don't come till after you meditate. It's always uncomfortable during it. Well, not always, but a lot of times, at least for me, it's uncomfortable while you're doing it. And maybe right after you feel a little disoriented or just kind of sleepy. But it's later in the day that you will see the benefits. It's when you're at a stoplight and you're in a rush that you can realize that you don't have to hurry. You can just breathe and sit through it because you've practiced it, right? It's when someone does something that would normally make you upset, maybe next time you'll be able to let it go because you're in this calm state. You've practiced it. You've gone through these poses. You've worked through all that. And so it doesn't need to come out later when it's not ideal, right? And so you'll notice the benefits later. Just trust the process, trust me, trust yourself, trust your body. It'll all be worth it. Let's go ahead and begin to walk the hands back towards the body. Back to a straightish spine, and then you can uncross the legs, and again we'll windshield wiper the legs just because that's a really great way to counter all of these poses where we're deepening into the hips and the spine. Let's just iron it out and to check back in. And so when you're ready, we're going to begin to move on to our backs. And so you can start just with the soles of the feet planted, and then we'll roll the spine down. And then our next pose is happy baby. So you can start by maybe bringing the knees into the chest. If you want to take a moment to kind of rock a little side to side, you can. And then eventually we'll press the soles of the feet up towards the sky and grab for the outer edges of the feet, and the knees come in towards the armpits, okay? And so we're just gently pulling the knees in towards the armpits. The soles of the feet are pointed towards the sky, and we'll just kind of hang out here. You can either be completely still, if that calls to you, or if you would like to maybe rock a little side to side, just very gently, right? Very soft, you can. And then we'll hang out here again for another approximately 3 minutes. This time I'm not going to time it. Just allow the tailbone to press down into the earth, the lower back to press down into the earth. Relax the shoulders. Relax the head, the face, the neck. Allow gravity to softly open up these hips. start to bring the knees back together, maybe hug them in. And then go ahead and straighten the right leg long against the mat, keeping this left knee in towards the chest. And then we'll cross this left knee over to the right side for a supine spinal twist. You can bring this left arm long into a T next to your side. And then you can shift your gaze to look over towards those left fingertips. Try to keep the shoulder blades flat against the mat. It's okay if there's space between this left knee and the ground. If you want to fill that space, you can, but you don't have to. This hand is just gently placed here to just use the weight of the hand. I'm not pressing down on the knee. I'm not forcing anything. Just the weight of this hand gently set here, just to keep it in place. Breathing here. Let's bring this left knee back through center, and then long against the earth. Noticing it might feel a little longer than the right leg. We'll draw the right knee in towards the chest, maybe hug it in for a moment. And then when it's available, we'll cross this right knee over towards the left. Again, we can bring this right arm wide into a T, and the gaze will look over towards these right fingertips. We want to keep the spine and the shoulders flat against the earth. Again, don't force anything, don't pull. My left hand is just placed on the right knee for support to keep it stable, not to press or anything like that. And breathe here. Tune back into that stillness. Just observe whatever thoughts come up, if the mind tends to wander. And just see if you can acknowledge and let go of whatever thoughts and emotions do come up. Not suppressing them, but acknowledging them. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring this knee back through center. And then we'll plant the feet, we'll windshield wiper the legs one more time. And then go ahead, bring both the legs long. And wiggle around, get comfortable in Shavasana. Lying flat against the earth. Feeling the support of that earth beneath you. Let the mat just catch you and hold you, and see if you can be completely still for the next couple minutes. As we allow all the work that we've done in the practice to settle in, for the body to heal and make changes. And thank yourself for doing something that is so nurturing, so loving to yourself. Letting go of any distractions and any remaining thoughts. Allow the bones to grow heavy, so much so that we can imagine that the ground around us begins to sort of rise and surround us. Scan the body from head to toe. Go on a bit of a journey through all the muscles and bones and body parts so that you can intentionally bring softness to each one. When you're ready, gently begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Slowly awaken the body. Rolling the wrists and ankles. And on an inhale, let's reach the arms up overhead. Full body stretch from the fingertips to the toes as if we're waking up for the first time today. You can press that reset button and have a fresh start on our day. Go ahead and hug the knees in towards the body. Give yourself a hug. And then rock a little side to side. Eventually allow this rocking motion to bring you to one side in the fetal position. Traditionally, we fall to the right side to keep the heart open, but it's up to you. The right arm can be used as a pillow for the head if you're on that right side. The left hand plants down. This pose is a symbol of rebirth. And we'll go ahead and gently press ourselves up to a seated position, ending cross-legged, just like how we started. Yoga is like a circle. And go ahead and sit up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. Inhale to circle the arms around and up to the sky. Connect the palms together at the top and exhale to seal in our practice. Normally we start by setting an intention at the beginning of our practice, but today I'm inviting you to set an intention for the rest of your day. And we'll begin to set this intention into motion. The light in me sees the light in you. Where those lights meet is where we find connection, and that connection is the meaning of the word yoga. Namaste.